Okay then, so what a great couple of interviews there by Spanners. Got the inside on Chris Dane's version of events, and also a good interview there with Dan Healy. Dan Healy managed to come out on top of that, and he did everything right. There was nothing really that he could do better to go about winning the race than what he did, and that's of course why he won, not just down to any kind of collision. So a great job there by Dan Healy, really epic win on that one, and what a contest behind, and it obviously has ended up being Healy from Novici and Danes. So yeah, very interesting, and we're moving on into heat race 4 now of the final round of heats. This is the final shot for people to get points to get to the semi-final. Spanners, it has to be said, some very interesting pair of interviews there, wasn't it?
Did you see the interview? Yeah, fair play.
And heard.
Good on Chris for coming and having a chat, because he was upset, but he composed himself to have a chat. Yeah, he is very convinced that he made a genuine move, but he was revenged.
Well, you can, yeah, he was. You can. It's always interesting, you know, and you know, when you're listening to people talk or when you're interviewing them, that as soon as someone says something like "I'm not going to lie," you know the next sentence is going to be interesting. Yeah?
No, and it's fair enough. And you know, his opponent there, I asked him, "Do you want to speak?" Very firm, "No, not right now." I think you got to respect that. Give yourself a chance to count to 10.
Yeah. Looking ahead, though, Spanners, on this next race, let's read out the entrants. We've got Slavik Piskors, we've got Dwayne Stoddart, Carl Stevens, Thomas Krakowski, Michael Gerber, Emil Hollink, Dan Chambers, Robin Kassam, Philippe Deneuze, and Tom Eastwood out in this one. How are we reading this one? This is going to be quite an interesting one because it's relatively open, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm going for Dwayne Stoddart for the win in a bit of a turn. Well, I mean, we've seen McGrath doing it, we've seen Llewellyn doing it. Why not?
Why not Dwayne Stoddart? Why not, indeed?
Why not
So
Stoddart?
it could be Dwayne Stoddart. Other possibilities there, if it's not going to be Dwayne Stoddart, you'd have to look down to Slavik Piskors.
Yes, of course. Yes.
Potentially Thomas Krakowski, who knows? And definitely Michael Gerber. Emil Hollink, probably not quite as strong as Marcel Hollink, so that'd be the thing there. And certainly Robin Kassam has shown well, hasn't he? And Philippe Deneuze. Yeah,
Deneuze has been quite punchy in all the races we've seen him as well. So I think this is one of those wide open ones. The favourite has probably got to be his scores, though. He's certainly going to be in the top 3. Are we looking at the wrong sheet?
I think we're looking at the wrong sheet.
Look, we've just summarised a future heat.
Yes, so we'll move to that heat in good time. Let's get to the real heat.
I think before we do that, we need to assign blame, and that was James's fault. So we just as long as that's clear.
But we've got a shock result because Brandon Williams is on pole position.
Nice.
Who is second? It's Ruben Boutens, the reigning world champion, has been pushed to second place. And that, Spanners, is not the first time we've seen that happen in this competition. And look what happened last time.
100% of people who've out-qualified Ruben Boutens have been punted at turn 1. That's an interesting stat for you.
Well, there's a stat, Spanners, and we'll see what happens there. It's Brandon Williams from Ruben Boutens and Mateusz Matys, Mario Blanco Gonzales. Now, Mario Blanco Gonzales generally been in the top half of this tournament. He's had a great year of it. Andy Meulemeester is in 5th, Ben Churchill in 6th, Ciaran Gallagher 7th, Gavin Williams 8th, Adam Preston 9th, and Sebastian Raikkonen rounds him out in 10th. But Brandon Williams, what can we say about that?
I think, off the top of my head, he's had 1st, 4th and 1st, and now he's qualified 1st. So he is massively strong. He's not an outsider. He's not surprising me anymore, and he's very tall.
Yeah, Williams has actually taken 2 wins in this tournament, and about the only person who's done better than that sat right behind him. Ruben Boutens with 3 wins. So so far he's looking to obviously make it 4 and guarantee a place in the final is Ruben Boutens, but behind them we've got Mateusz Matys, and he could have something to say in this. So let's see what happens here. We've got Brandon Williams leads them around. He's swerving about, but he's already on the gas. He's trying to pull out something of a gap on Ruben Boutens, the world champion, and that is saying something. He's got a car length lead going towards the Snell. Spanners, this could be quite a race.
I think Ruben takes it as a personal insult when he's not 1st, and I think Williams needs to look out.
Yeah, I mean, Ruben Boutens is a 5-time British champion. He's the reigning British champion, he's the reigning world champion, and he knows his place, and his place is 1st. But Brandon Williams has had the sheer audacity to come from nowhere and put himself in that spot. But Matys is close behind Boutens.
Williams has got to learn of where Pinheiro went wrong yesterday. You don't leave a gap. If there's a gap, Boutens is going.
Where Pinero went wrong was running in front of Ruben Boutens, I think. Boutens was really keen to take the lead as early as possible. I think Boutens will be keen to do the same in this one because Mateusz Matys is getting very racy behind him, and Matys may well prove to be a bit of a problem for Ruben Boutens if Brandon Williams and he don't clear away from the third place driver.
Look at the gallery filling up. There is shoving room only at the barrier. Everyone enthralled to see what Boutens will do. And if Williams has been watching and paying attention this weekend, I think he'll be taking defensive lines into every corner, which means we could well end up in a 10-kart train here.
Absolutely, and as you rightly say, in the gallery here at Formula Fast in Milton Keynes, it's definitely elbow room only, isn't it? And they carry on round out to the Snell section. Brandon Williams with, it has to be said, a genuine lead over Ruben Boutens, and they seem to be clearing Matys just about. But there's Blanco Gonzales. Clearly there's no breakaway here, is there? It's a genuine 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 race, this.
It's interesting. We're so used to seeing Ruben just disappear off up front. So I think as much as everyone loves Ruben and he's a great champion, a lot of the gallery, a lot of the people on the live stream will be gunning for Williams here just to see, you know, something different and see someone take the fight to him.
Oh, absolutely. They'll be rooting for Williams, won't they? But check this out. Guess who's fastest on track?
He's left a gap.
He's left a gap. Boutens going to the other side. Oh, we got a Pinero job. It's down the inside. No, we don't. Williams lives to fight another day. But guess who's fastest on the track? Blanco Gonzales, Spanners.
Williams left 0.99% of a kart width, and Boutens had a real good look at it before swinging to the outside. I thought that was going to end badly.
Absolutely, Boutens was looking left, he was looking right, and luckily for him, Williams managed to hold him off. Matys, fortunately for Boutens, didn't capitalise on that, or wasn't able to, and it's going to happen again, is it? No, Boutens just got him rattled, and he definitely hasn't rattled because Williams has gone defensive.
Well, if Boutens is being held up down that back straight, and he keeps sniffing down the outside, is Matys going to be brave enough to have a punt, or does he feel like that's not worth it in the long run?
Well, the one thing you'd have to say about Matys is that he's a pretty young driver. He was indoor junior champion of Poland last year, so even if he isn't brave enough, he's certainly young enough to give it a shot.
Oh, Boutens has got the pace on this back straight every single time. Oh, there was nearly a gap left there by Williams, but he shut the door. But Boutens has definitely got the pace down that back straight.
And the interesting thing there with Ruben Boutens is he does start the passing move quite early on the back stretch. It's as if he wants to get alongside and command the position. Oh, we've got to change position near the tail there. Was that a pit stop? Yeah,
yes,
we've got some in the pits, yeah.
Sorry, yeah, pit stop by Preston, and early on just to get out of the pack, and it's a clean one to start us off, a little bit hesitant, but he's off on his way.
Okay, so they're coming around this turn now. Boutens, he starts to move early. It's as if he wants to go for the sort of block pass. He's staying to the outside. Now he shoots inside. Is it on? No. Boutens is having a very serious look at Brandon Williams on every lap now. Ruben Boutens, I think, is getting a bit sick of following Williams. He knows that Matys is dangerous behind him. He knows Gonzales is dangerous behind that. Ruben Boutens just wants to get this done and the win underway. I think from his point of view, he wants to get ahead of Williams. Do you think he might even go for an early pit stop? Unlikely though that may be.
Are you telling me that Boutens is going to be forced into an early pit stop by Williams? I don't think so.
I think he is, because he can't pass Williams. Williams has got him covered in all the usual Boutens passing places. Williams is showing even better than anyone else against Ruben Boutens that I think we've seen for a long time. And he's definitely holding the world champ to task.
Here's a little insight when I've been interviewing Williams and looking in his eyes. He's disappointed to only have 2 wins at this point as we look at Meulemeester, Andy Meulemeester coming in for a pit stop. I think he's going to come out easily ahead of Preston, who made that early stop.
Well, that's pretty lofty things when you're disappointed with only 2 wins out of 3.
He seemed to be that.
Boutens is not in a position to attack. That's the first time for a long time that he's not been in a position to attack. So Brandon Williams has had a sort of relatively easy ride of it down the backstretch, but now Boutens is all over the back bumper. Is it going to happen in the Snail? Is Boutens going to the inside already? Boutens is trying places that no one else tries. It's not working, but it's rattling Brandon Williams. That'll probably be what Boutens is all about.
Williams will not have expected that leaving a gap there would have been a problem. So now Williams has no choice but to just hug the barrier at every single point.
And this is the raciest we've seen Ruben Boutens in years at the BRKC. He's really having to fight here. He's obviously not just going to think in terms of pit stopping his way out. He's going to keep that one in hand. But, well, he's going to have to come up with something. There's a 5-car breakaway. That takes him down to Ben Churchill. So Williams, Boutens, Matys, Gonzales and Churchill are beginning to break away from Ciaran Gallagher, who's in 6th. Now, this is a pressure point, though, because Brandon Williams is fighting off 4 other karts, not just Boutens in reality.
Well, Churchill finds himself in some good company there, and they're not getting away, so maybe he fancies a stab or two. But
and he'd be right to, because he has set the fastest lap. The fastest on the track is Ben Churchill there in 5th place. And that's against champion pit stop. Gonzales. Mario Blanco Gonzales.
I think that's a fair move. In that chain, looking at the chaos that's going up front, you've got some big hitters there, some real fast guys. Why not get out and give yourself some breathing space? But look at that. Churchill's making, no odds about that gap. But he's saying, oh, well, I'm in 4th now.
Absolutely, and you've just got to love the style of Mario Blanco Gonzales. Why is he making an early pit? Because those in front are slower. Who's in front? Brandon Williams, world champion Ruben Boutens, and Matys.
Matys is going to come in and try and cover off Gonzales as well. Let's see. First stop, he tries to anticipate it. That goes well. Second stop here as well. Same again, and he's going to come out comfortably, I think, in front of Gonzales, or have I completely misinterpreted that? No, he has.
He has, yes. Matys, the Polish junior champion from 2017. Well, who's the fastest now? Ben Churchill has set a new record lap for this race. So Ben Churchill, despite having been in the battle there, well, he's now 3rd, and he is in the battle with Brandon Williams and world champion Ruben Boutens, double world champion. Ruben Boutens in. Ruben Boutens in. He taps the wall. He hits the wall. This is the most rattled we've ever seen Ruben Boutens. In his case, it'll mean probably a single raised eyebrow, but it's about as rattled as we've ever seen him.
Might move slightly.
He's ahead of Matys, but Matys is going to come at him in the snail. Oh, and Ruben Boutens has got him covered. I think we're going to see a little bit of calming down now. Some of these pits, I know Matys is there with Ruben Boutens, but I don't think we're going to see it sort of on that potential explosive situation there.
I want to see Williams pit, and he has.
Yes.
I'm so relieved to see that for Williams' sake. This was his opportunity, I think. Now everyone's watching for Boutens.
Call it, Spanners.
It's going to be so close. I think he's done it. I think Williams has done enough to come back out in front, and Boutens is not going to be pleased with that. Expect some aggression now. We've got a long time. We've got 12 minutes of this left.
The snail down the inside. No. Oh, and Brandon Williams has done just enough to hold off the reigning world champion Ruben Boutens. Brandon Williams, it was looking very cagey there. You just knew Boutens was going to try it, because now all bets are off. He's going to have to pass him on merit.
That's interesting, though. Churchill's in. I would have thought he might have fancied his chances in some clear air. He's going to come out right in the middle, I think, of this front 4.
He obviously feels like he's got to block him, but he's going to come out, as you say, smack in the middle. It's going to be nasty.
Oh, wow.
Ruben Boutens to the outside. Churchill could be the spoiler here. He is. He's holding position. Matys.
That's amazing.
Blanco. Mario Blanco Gonzales down the inside of Ruben Boutens, almost. But he's taken Matys. Mario Blanco Gonzales has taken Matys, and it's Churchill to the outside onto the backstretch. Spanners, this is getting crazy.
Churchill didn't read the script here, but he's in danger of losing out to 2 people down the inside. He's trying to hold off Boutens, and he... Oh, no! That was rude. Boutens left him no room whatsoever.
Ruben Boutens and Ben Churchill. Churchill gets slammed into the wall. Well, that's going to be an interesting one.
I would argue that Churchill had a lot of his car alongside Ruben's there.
Well, they were side by side, but it's a tricky one to call. There's the world champion, Ruben Boutens. This is the raciest he's had to be, I think, ever in the Brkc. He's really having to work on this one. This is not an easy run. Gavin Williams in the... Sorry, Gavin Williams in the lead. From Sebastian Raikkonen in 2nd. We've never seen them two that high. Brandon Williams is now 3rd, having made a pit stop, and Matys is 4th. But look at this, the guys who are actually listed first, 2nd, who've not made any pit stops, have been caught by the original race leaders who have made pit stops of Williams, Matys, Boutens, and Gonzales. So Ruben Boutens there down in 5th place. He's only in 5th because Williams and Raikkonen have yet to stop. What is going to happen here? If they stay out long term, here's Brandon Williams now catching the back of Sebastian Raikkonen, and with the greatest of respect, they're not quite in the same league, the now 2 leaders, but they don't have to move out of the way. They're not backmarkers, they're in the lead.
I'm still feeling really gutted for Churchill, because that move started. He just let Matys get his nose in front coming out of the snail, and I don't think he's done too much wrong, and he's ended up behind Meulemeester as well.
Yeah, and leader Gavin Williams looking left and right down the backstretch for Sebastian Raikkonen. Brandon Williams into the pits, it's one of the leaders, it's Gavin Williams pits out from that one. Sebastian Raikkonen assumes the lead. And Raikkonen leads for the first time, but he's got Williams down the inside.
Decisive move by Williams there. Raikkonen, another Scruffy Bear Productions driver, temporarily in the lead, but only for 2 turns. And that's enough, they're taking that.
It's the first time he's had the lead of a BRKC race, and he had it. He crossed the line, listed in the lead. He might want to take a photo of this when he's watching on the live stream with that position. So he's listed as leading. It's going to be Brandon Williams across the line in the second to assume the lead officially. Into the pits is Raikkonen.
Yep. It's a good first stop.
And Ruben Boutens up to third, Matys second, and Gonzales is fourth. Andy Meulemeester fifth.
Raikkonen
and Ben Churchill sixth.
Big battle there with Williams. Oh, sorry. With a different Williams. There's 2 Williams. Oh, Raikkonen there involved in a big lunge down past into the Snell, and he's in danger of losing out to Gallagher as well, but very fighty from first down to 9th.
Absolutely, and back up to first is Brandon Williams, who's crossing the line now. Matys is trying to close in on him. Ruben Boutens is following Matys. He's very close to Matys now. There's a bit of a gap to Blanco Gonzales, and then Andy Meulemeister's come up from nowhere to rejoin this lead battle, and then it's Ben Churchill. So Andy Meulemeister's worked wonders to put himself into the top 5, and he's running in 5th place as we speak.
Matys has gone defensive though, so I think he's much more worried about Boutens at this point.
Yeah, the gap there, he's nearly a second back from the leader, Brandon Williams. This is only good news for Brandon Williams. Ruben Boutens is all over the back of Mateusz Matys, the junior champion. And, well, looking at it, it's 7 minutes to go. It could still change, but Ruben Boutens is obviously going to try and up himself from 3rd place. He's not going to be keen on finishing there, Spanners.
No, I can't imagine he's sitting there singing a song, feeling very happy with himself. I think there will be an element of frustration. And Williams.
Wow! Another very robust Ruben Boutens pass, and this time it's on Mateusz Matys. Moves Ruben Boutens up to 2nd place.
I didn't see that coming.
I don't think Matys did either. Admittedly, we had the advantage of looking out the window. Matys was, obviously facing the other way, but nobody saw that one coming. It's a what has characterised Ruben Boutens in this championship has been the last second lunge, and Ruben Boutens blocked him off. He's pretty aggressive in this race. Matys is trying to come back at Ruben Boutens as Brandon Williams is waving about
What's happened? He's got a problem. He's got a problem.
Is Brandon Williams slowing?
Yeah, it seems to be.
Ruben Boutens is closing up on him, and Brandon Williams was waving about something. He seems to have lost pace somewhere, somehow. The lap time suggests it's a second. The lap time suggests that Brandon Williams somehow has lost a second. Ruben Boutens is all over the back of him. Is he going to pass him down the backstretch? He tries to go to the outside. There's nothing going there, and he runs wide. Boutens going to come on the inside. Did he? No. But Brandon Williams does seem to have struggled. Let's see if he's back on form lap time-wise here. It may just be something. Maybe he caught the wall. Lap time suggests he's back on form. Brandon Williams sets a 32.8. So whatever happened, it was only momentary there. Maybe he caught the wall and it cost him some time.
Odd.
But Ruben Boutens is right back on him, and so is Mateusz Matys. This is not what Brandon Williams needed, especially now.
And Gonzales is not all that far off either now. And Meulemeester, oh, hello. Boutens, I mean, if you leave him anything down there, he's going to go for it. And the problem is, I think Matys thought he was safe. I think he got to the point in that straight and he thought, well, there's no way he's coming from down here. And but he did.
Yeah, it was probably the one moment that he thought he was safe, and that was the moment Boutens struck. And, well, Brandon Williams seems to have recovered from whatever problem there was. He's back up there on lap times. The fastest lap of the race, though, is with the world champion, Ruben Boutens. Now, Brandon Williams surely going to go super defensive down there. Yes, he does. Absolutely to the inside. Only Matys moves to the outside. Boutens was following Williams there. Bit of a double bubble there for Boutens, trying to block Matys, of course.
Yeah, Boutens also had to go defensive. So that's a fascinating battle.
And guess who's caught up in 4th place, making it a 4-way fight for position? It's Blanco Gonzales.
So Williams is now just sitting here taking the tightest lines, thinking maybe Gonzales and Matys can do me a favour.
Absolutely, and well, Brandon is going to be almost relying on some support from Matys. If he can get, Ruben Boutens sideways under braking there. Brandon Williams, his you know, his best hope really now is for Matys to be giving absolute ton of trouble to Ruben Boutens and distracting him, because Ruben Boutens looking pretty racy. He's trying in all different areas. Nobody tries there, and yet Boutens tried it twice.
I think Boutens actually clipped the wall on the back straight the last time round.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely think there's bounce off the fence there. In fact, Brandon Williams is still setting good lap times. The record lap for this race is with Boutens, and it's down the inside. They are losing speed because of being offline, but it's a very fast pace they're carrying despite the fact they're running offline. The racing line gives you the fastest speed, but they're losing a little bit, and that's why Gonzales and Meulemeester is now closing on the lead group. This could kick off Spanish.
I was going to say they've
3
got
minutes remaining.
They've got two new friends, haven't they, in the form of Meulemeester and Churchill. Now, who I'm cheering on a little bit, because I think he was hard done by. I want Churchill at least in fourth after that.
Now, as it's the last heat race, are we going to see a suicide lunge from Churchill?
Probably.
Because a ridiculous move could net a whole ton of places here, because no one's going to see it coming. It'll probably result in a bad pass flag, but goodness knows what the outcome. It's top six are fighting for the win here with 3 minutes 20 to go. Ruben Boutens is the one really, you know, that we're looking at, because Williams is in front and Ruben Boutens is the one who's been making the most attempts to pass. But look at that, Matys is behind, Gonzales behind, Meulemeester, Churchill, they're all in the mix, all in the fight. Now look at this, Brandon Williams is going to have to go defensive, it's going to cost time. Matys shoots the outside, Boutens has to go with Williams, and round becomes Spanners. This is going to get nasty. Into the final corner here.
I'm just going to say it, this is brilliant.
This is one of the toughest races we've seen in the whole tournament. Brandon Williams absorbing enormous pressure. It's the double world champion, the 5-time British champion. Ruben Boutens behind him. Mateusz Matys is third. That's nasty as well. Churchill has made a place up. Churchill has passed Meulemeester, but it's cost them time.
Yeah, it's not stuck.
Brandon Williams to the left side. Ruben Boutens does go slightly right, but then tucks in behind. Spanners, 2.5 minutes remaining. How do you read it?
I think it's Matys and Gonzales. They're the ones putting the pressure on. But I think Matys has seen how aggressive Boutens is being. He's got to be a little bit wary of that. Gonzales, not so much. I do fancy Gonzales to make a lunge at some point as well.
Absolutely, Mario Blanco Gonzales, I think he's potentially the danger man from a risky move point of view. And as they come around, it's Brandon Williams with just 2 minutes to go. He's absorbing huge pressure. He's not even going to try for a racing line. Yes, he does. He's at the racing line. Ruben Boutens get on the inside. He's getting pushed by Matys. Oh, Ruben Boutens almost stepped into the lead by Matys there. Well, that was a risky move there by Williams.
It was interesting because Williams took the normal racing line, didn't feel like he had to defend on that. Boutens defending from Matys, so the dynamic of that front four has slightly shifted.
Absolutely, and Matys shown his hand to Boutens, and Boutens has shown us that he's as worried about Matys potentially there, because Matys might make something of this. Brandon Williams, I bet, goes defensive. Yes, he does. 1.5 minutes to go. Look at it, Gonzales to the outside, tries to make a pass, doesn't come off. They've only got less than 1.5 minutes to go. Look at this bleed. This would be the most incredible win if Brandon Williams can do something and win this race. He will have defeated in a straight fight the world champion Ruben Boutens.
Churchill has got past Meulemeester and bridged the gap and caught up to those front four, and I think he's got a score to settle, so let's see what he can do as well, because Gonzales before this was completely unbothered. Now he's got Churchill.
Right, there's 49 seconds to go, and that means 49 seconds until Ben Churchill goes home, basically. So is it going to be an outrageous lunge from way back? And they've given the flag, Brandon Williams has won from Ruben Boutens and Mateusz Matys. Mario Blanco Gonzales is fourth, Ben Churchill is fifth in one of the most epic races of all time in the British Rental Car Championship. Ruben Boutens has been pushed to second place by Brandon Williams. He tried everything. He was trying to pass in places that we've never seen before. He couldn't quite make it work, but he was absorbing enormous pressure from Mateusz Matys, the Polish junior champion. Mario Blanco Gonzales, we really don't have anything to hang his helmet on championship-wise, but he was in the mix in fourth place there against the world champion and a 3-time winner in Brandon Williams. Ben Churchill, fantastic effort to come through into fifth place. An amazing performance by Ben Churchill there as well. So cracking performances all the way down. Andy Meulemeester was up there, he did great. Adam Preston was 7th, Raikkonen 8th, Gallagher 9th, and Gavin Williams 10th. What a run there. And Brandon Williams, an win, and one he surely will be proud of. We're going to be going down to the pits with Spanners as soon as possible, and we'll see what he comes up with.
Oh, wow. Tell me when I'm in. That was an okay race, wasn't it? I'm here with Brandon Williams. Wow.
Yeah, I'm speechless. I think the qualifying did it for me. Don't know how I did it. Got a brilliant lap in, managed to get ahead of him. And then I said from the start, if it was anyone else, I probably wouldn't have defended that much, but because it's him, I had to beat him.
There were times when you left 99% of a kart's width and he nearly tried to sneak through it. Did you find yourself just having to stay all the way to the left?
Oh yeah, all the time. Because if I sniff any gap, he's going to go for it straight away.
Did you notice he was making moves like going into the snail where I hadn't seen anyone else make a move?
Which part was that?
Well, just like, you know, even before the hairpin.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, I think I tried it on someone before, so I knew about it. So if that didn't happen, he probably would have got me there. But I was keen on it straight away. I seen him come in, so I just moved over to the right before the right.
So that's first, fourth, fifth. And then, so 3 wins basically out of 4. You're not exactly an outsider anymore.
Oh, we'll just see how the rest of it goes. Hopefully I'll get some good luck and do well.
A great start. I'm very optimistic for you. Well done. Congratulations. What an amazing performance, holding off the pressure of billion-time world champion Ruben Boutens. That's my man. I'm backing him to do really well in the semis and the final. Up to you, James.
Okay, well, what a race we saw. That was the toughest race, I think, of the whole championship. As Spanners was saying to the winner there, Brandon Williams, Ruben Boutens was trying in places we haven't seen. We have not seen anyone going towards the Snell section actually attempt to pass, and Ruben Boutens did it several times, and it nearly came off simply because it was an unexpected place to try. Obviously, it would have put Boutens on the inside for the whole Snell section, and that is how it would have come off had he been able to make it work. However, it was Brandon Williams who managed to absorb enormous pressure from world champion Ruben Boutens to win the race. Mateusz Matys came through in 3rd place, and then Blanco Gonzales managed to stay with that battling group there. An epic performance. We're going to turn our attention to the next race on the list, and don't know how we can top that, but well, it's the British Rental Kart Championship, so I wouldn't assume anything. Next up, we've got Slavek Piskorz. He's up against Dwayne Stoddart, Carl Stevens, Thomas Krakowski, Michael Gerber, Emil Holling, Dan Chambers, Robin Kassam, Philippe Deneuze and Tom Eastwood. They're going to be contesting this next race, and it has to be said, there's a few people in there who may end up a little bit higher than what they thought. Slightly higher maybe in terms of points to what they may have scored in other heat races, and we'll see what they have to show for us. But I think the dust is still settling on that big scrap. Spanner's got the main interview with the winner, but I should imagine there's a few chats going on back up in the balcony area where the drivers rest between races. The very popular balcony area there is frequent